Hey, cozy gamers! Today we're going to talk about Dark Side of the Moon, my experience playing it, and if I would recommend grabbing it. Dark Side of the Moon is an exploration adventure game where you play as a Duckstronaut named Doug, who's crash landed on a new world. You must explore the new place in order to find resources and the missing parts of your ship. Along the way, you'll meet new characters, upgrade your ship, and complete quests. Duck Side of the Moon at its core is the perfect game for me. It has a cute art style, you more or less have the freedom to go where you want, and there are short tasks for my squirrel brain to complete for a dopamine drop. So let me be clear that I am delighted by this game, however, there are a lot of bugs in the system. So as far as pros, the art is adorable, the world is magical, and the freedom to explore at my own pace is a cozy experience. And for the bugs that I mentioned, it's worth noting that the team is responsive and quick to address issues. As for the cons, the game has a lot of bugs that need to be worked out, and it's a shorter game for a higher price point. So let's talk about the issues that I had. My first 2 hours of gameplay were smooth sailing. I had no concerns, no issues, no notes. Unfortunately, the last half of the game is where things really started to fall apart for me. I ran into one issue, and after that was solved, I seemed to domino myself into others. At this point, I almost have to wonder if my save file is a little bit corrupted because others have managed to play and finish the game with no issue. I don't know what I did, but something is borked in the system along the way for me. At first, I had an issue with train tracks where I was tasked to rebuild a section that had been blown apart when I crash landed. I was able to use my gravity beam tool to fit the tracks together, but I went a little too far and was unable to pull them apart. This created an issue where I couldn't move forward and my tools were glitching out. I put in a report and the bug got fixed because, as I said, the team was very responsive to my issue. The bad news is that things started to fall apart again not too far after that. I had an issue where one of the mini games locked me in place, and the only way to regain mobility was to restart the entire game. Theoretically, that was fine because I didn't need that mini game for progression. However, the next issue I ran into is game breaking, and my game is currently broken as I'm doing this review. I am unable to finish Dark Side of the Moon until a patch is loaded. I have faith that one will get loaded, it's just a matter of having to wait for that fix to come through. For my issue, there's a volcano in the game that erupts, and you're supposed to put out fires that spawn from it. There's also a river that runs alongside the volcano that spawns water bubbles, so you can use your gravity beam to move the bubbles around. Weirdly, I feel like multiple bubbles were spawned previously to this issue, but once this started, I only had the one bubble that I was able to grab and use, and then that bubble never respawned. So the issue is that I have to put out 5 fires, and I only had one bubble to do that. I logged out, I explored the area, and not only did I discover that there are no more water bubbles for me to use, but there's also a force field around the area, so I don't have full access to the rest of the game like I did with previous bugs. I can't make progress on quests, I can't collect from treasure chests, and I'm not even sure I can return to my ship because I didn't test just how far that force field traps me. At least with the train tracks issue, I was able to still go and do other things. So all of that said, there are some issues. I would still recommend Dark Side of the Moon because I genuinely enjoyed the first half of the game. However, I wouldn't recommend it right now. You definitely want to wait for fixes. Also, the game is $19.99, so from start to finish, it's about 3 hours of content. Maybe 5 if you try to 100% the game. So it's kind of hard for me to say that it's definitely worth grabbing at this price point with the issues that I've had. It's definitely fair to say that I have a complicated relationship with Dark Side of the Moon. There are bugs present at the moment that keep it from being recommendable. It's cozy when it works, and since I can't guarantee that yours will work, give it more time before you decide to grab it or not. It's fun, but ultimately I want you to be able to enjoy your game. And unfortunately, my issues started up after the 2-hour mark that you can return a game, so I just don't feel comfortable in saying yes, definitely buy it, even though I have enjoyed it immensely, despite the issues. So that's my 2 cents. Wait it out, give it some time, and then I would say try out the demo and see if it's a game for you that you want to take the risks on. Because otherwise, it's perfectly delightful when it's not broken, you know? So that's it, that's my thoughts. Let me know if you've played Dark Side of the Moon and what your thoughts are. Otherwise, stay cozy.